She stayed quiet for many years, but now she's finally speaking up. Anne McClain, the well-loved star of House of Payne and Disney's Descendants, has revealed something major that has shocked many people in the entertainment industry. What she said is all about her experience working with Tyler Perry. She talked about how she was treated on set and how she was told to stay silent. Her words are making people see things differently about one of Hollywood's most powerful and successful creators. This isn't just another celebrity story. It's a serious moment that's making people pay attention. For a long time, Anne McClain was seen as a bright young star in Hollywood. She was talented, polite, and always cheerful when people saw her in interviews or on red carpets. Fans watched her grow up on TV, from her early days on Tyler Perry's House of Payne, to starring in Disney's A&T Farm and the Descendants movies. On the outside, everything looked perfect. But now we're learning that behind the scenes, her experience was very different. China has finally opened up about what she went through while working with Tyler Perry. He is often celebrated for creating opportunities for black actors and for telling important stories. But according to China, her time working with him wasn't always positive. She talked about being in situations where she felt controlled and unheard. She said there were moments when her ideas and creativity were shut down and that she didn't feel free to be herself. She also said this kind of treatment wasn't just something that happened to her, but part of a bigger problem in the industry, especially for young black women. She explained that many people don't realize what actors go through when the cameras are off. She described a pattern of behavior and power dynamics that have been ignored for too long. She believes the public needs to understand what really happens behind the scenes, so others don't have to face the same issues. China said that deciding to walk away was not easy, but it was necessary for her well-being and her future. What's even more surprising is what she shared about private conversations with Tyler Perry, things fans would never have guessed. She also hinted that other people may have had similar experiences, and some might even be getting ready to speak out as well. This story isn't just about celebrity drama. It's about truth, change, and speaking up when something doesn't feel right. Anne McClain's journey started when she was just a child. Born into a family full of musical talent, her father a music producer and her mother a songwriter, China had the gift of creativity from the very beginning. By the age of 7, she was already performing. But even with all her success, there was pain behind her smile. Now she's finally sharing her story, and it's one that's shaking up Hollywood. Anne McClain got her start in acting with a role in the movie The Gospel. It didn't take long for her talent to be noticed, especially by Tyler Perry. In 2007, she was cast as Jasmine Payne on House of Payne, one of Perry's most popular sitcoms. The show focused on a black family and was a major success, helping to bring black family life into mainstream television. At first glance, it looked like a dream opportunity. A young, talented black actress working with one of the most powerful black creators in Hollywood. Fans quickly fell in love with China's funny and confident character. To the public, it seemed like she was living every young actor's dream. But behind her bright smile and lively performances, there was a side of China's experience that no one saw. Over the years, she gave small hints in interviews about the struggles she faced. She never spoke in detail, but she did mention long working hours, strict creative control, and moments when she didn't feel truly heard. In a 2022 podcast interview, she made a powerful comment. There were times when I felt like a product, not a person, especially when I was younger. At the time, she didn't mention any names, but fans are now rewatching those interviews with a new understanding after her recent comments about Tyler Perry. Since then, people who worked on House of Payne have anonymously shared that the set wasn't always a friendly or supportive place. According to these insiders, the environment had a do-as-you're-told attitude. Even the youngest actors had little control over their characters, their work schedules, or when they were allowed to speak up. For a child like China, this wasn't just tiring, it was emotionally difficult. Still, she kept pushing forward. She stayed professional, smiled for the cameras, and tried to convince herself that this was just the way the industry worked, especially when you were lucky enough to work on a Tyler Perry production. As she got older and gained more experience, her perspective began to change. She started to notice the power imbalance more clearly. She began asking questions. And according to people close to her, that's when things started to get tense. It wasn't that she wanted to take over or cause problems. She simply wanted to protect her values, especially when it came to her faith, how her character was portrayed, and her personal image. But insiders say that when she began speaking up, not everyone responded well. Things came to a turning point when she returned to the House of Payne reboot in 2020. By then, she had grown emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. She was no longer the young girl who accepted everything without question. She came back with a stronger sense of purpose. She had boundaries and beliefs that mattered to her. And she wanted to make sure the work she did reflected those values. According to people on set, China started expressing concern about certain scenes, especially those that didn't align with her Christian faith. She wasn't being difficult, just honest. She spoke up when episodes involved adult jokes or themes she didn't want her character involved in. She wasn't asking to control the show. She was just standing by her beliefs. But that was enough to make things uncomfortable behind the scenes. Multiple people who were there say the mood shifted once China began raising these concerns. She stayed silent for years, but now Anne McClain is finally speaking up. Known for her roles in House of Payne and Disney's Descendants, China was seen as a rising star. Talented, respectful, and always smiling. But now, she's revealed a side of her experience that fans never saw, and it's getting attention all across the industry. At the center of her story is Tyler Perry, the man who gave her one of her first big roles. What she shared is changing the way many people view one of Hollywood's most powerful creators. According to China, things behind the scenes weren't always as positive as they appeared. She says that during her time on House of Payne, she was often shut down when she tried to speak up. She felt overlooked and unheard, especially when she raised concerns about how her character was written or when a scene didn't sit right with her spiritually. At first, she tried to be polite and professional, but over time the frustration built up. Eventually, she asked for a private meeting with Tyler Perry himself, hoping to be honest about how she felt and to suggest changes that aligned with her personal values. People close to her say that this meeting was a turning point. China went in hopeful, thinking she would be listened to, but she came out in tears. Though the details of the conversation haven't been shared publicly, a friend of hers said, she went in hoping to be heard. She came out knowing she never would be. That moment marked the beginning of a major shift for China. She slowly began pulling back, emotionally and professionally. Fans began noticing changes in her behavior. Her social media posts started to include mysterious captions, references to spiritual struggles, and talk about feeling stuck in places that didn't match her beliefs. In one Instagram live, she said, "The enemy isn't always obvious. Sometimes he comes in the form of opportunity, of success, of people you once trusted." At the time, many thought she was talking generally about the entertainment industry. But now, those words sound like a message aimed at someone specific, possibly even Tyler Perry. She started distancing herself from House of Payne and stopped taking other projects connected to Perry's studios. Her co-stars said she became more reserved, still professional, but no longer the lively girl they remembered from the early seasons. Eventually, she made the difficult decision to walk away from the show completely. Despite being one of the most beloved characters, she left quietly, choosing instead to focus on faith-based projects and creative work where she had more control. There was no dramatic announcement, but her absence said everything. Rumors began swirling that China wasn't just walking away, she was preparing to speak out. And that's exactly what happened. One day, she went live on Instagram, not with a publicist or lawyer, but just herself, speaking from the heart. It started as a normal check-in with fans, but quickly became something much deeper. "I've been quiet for a long time," she began. "But I'm not going to be silent anymore. I need to speak my truth." That opening sentence alone shocked viewers. Comments poured in, with fans wondering who she was talking about. Then came the first major reveal. She said that there are people in the industry, people who seem to be doing good work and claim to follow God, who are really using their power to control others. She said she had experienced it herself on set and had watched it happen to others, too. And no one talked about it, she added, because they were too afraid. Though she never said Tyler Perry's name directly, everything she mentioned, her role, the timeline, the faith-based concerns, pointed toward her time on House of Payne. She described one incident where she objected to a scene that didn't feel right spiritually. But instead of being respected, she was pressured to do it anyway. She was told that refusing would mess up the production and that she should just be thankful to have the opportunity. They say they're giving you a platform, she said, but what they really want is obedience. And if you push back, they label you as difficult or ungrateful. Her live video lasted almost 30 minutes. She wasn't angry or disrespectful, but her words carried serious weight. She spoke not just as a child star, but as a grown woman reflecting on how the industry treated her, and how it often praises powerful people while ignoring the harm done behind the scenes. Her message hit home. Other young actors began posting their own mysterious messages after her live, hinting that she wasn't the only one who had these kinds of experiences. Within hours, her video had gone viral. It was shared on YouTube, TikTok, gossip blogs, and podcasts. Hashtags like #McClainTruth and #TylerPerryExposed started trending. Some people praised her for her courage, while others defended Perry, questioning her intentions. Behind the scenes, Tyler Perry's team reportedly reached out to China's camp. Some sources even say a cease and desist letter was prepared, though it's unclear if it was ever officially sent. But if the goal was to make her stop talking, it didn't work. In a follow-up Instagram story, China wrote, "You don't scare me. I'm covered. And I'm not here to destroy. I'm here to tell the truth. That's what God called me to do." Her words were clear, confident, and full of purpose. Whether people agree with her or not, one thing is certain: China Anne McClain has found her voice, and she's not afraid to use it.